What's happening, everybody? It is Thursday. Let's get your home loan ready. This is Shelton J. Think About It Radio. I have a special guest with me again today, Miss Krista Guillen-Rios, Senior Marketing Director with WFG. And we're going to talk about some 401k and all the ins and outs and the ups and downs of that 401k. Can you dig it? Miss Rios, thank you for your time this morning. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Excellent, man. If I got any better, man, it'd probably be against the law. It'll probably be against the law. It is all good. Moving and grooving, man. Just excited about a new day. One we never seen it before, right? So it's all to the good.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am. How's business? I'm seeing you guys are moving and grooving and staying real busy with everything that's going on over there. So I like what I see. You guys always got that action plan going.
Absolutely, and especially right now with everything going on with the stock market, people need to know the options that they have for their 401k or what's left of it, in other words.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, though, and we're going to share some of that today on the show, you know, the 401k, the options and stuff like that. I put in the description as well, and listeners, do you know that you can use some of your 401k savings to use it for a down payment for a home if you need to? That's one of the reasons they allow it for you to use it. So if you need excess funds and you have a 401k saved up, you can use some of those funds as well to help you with the home loan if that's needed, and of course. But we're going to get into those other things later on. But Ms. Rios, tell the people what you do, who you are, and all those good things, and then we'll get into this 401k rules and the regulations.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that kind of introduction, Shelton. I've been now in the industry 8 years and very happy and pleased to be helping the community as to what to do with their money. Not only that, to show them the options. How is it that their money works, to make an educated decision about their investments and their future, to come.
Solid. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, though. What led you to do that, though? Just a love for the community, a love for people, because think about it. We're dealing with a lot of people in society that's very selfish. So for you to go outside of yourself and say, you know what, I want to do something, I really want to educate the people, what really drives you? What's your driving factor for that?
My driving factor was whenever I was graduating college and graduated with a bachelor's in business, I came out with student debt, just like about 70% of America that has student debt out there. And, I asked my parents, what is this? They didn't know what to say, what to answer, right? And it's just because we didn't have the money to put you to college, so now you have to pay for it yourself. So going into the business the work life that I had during State Farm, if many of you are familiar with State Farm, I worked there for about 5 years. And I got to, know little by little as to how is it that the financial aspects work of it, and came to figure out these are great solutions because I was personally damaged with it because unfortunately my parents didn't know, but, it's not their fault that they didn't know. It's because somebody wasn't there to give them the information to do so. So from that, I got my passion as to, if I can change one family at a time, why not? So it's making a difference to leave no family behind, which is our motto that we have.
It's a beautiful motto. I like that motto. Leave no family behind. Can you dig it? We're going to take care of everybody that's willing to sit down and listen to what's being said. And check out those meetings also, man. Wednesdays and Saturdays. So if anybody wants to come out, please let the people know where they can come out and get some further information.
Some further information, I'm sorry, about
like to the meetings, like those meetings and stuff you guys have as far as like sharing information, like the training and stuff like that.
Okay, yes. We do weekly seminars, financial seminars about how money works and the rules of money. It's every weekday, every Wednesday at 7. For those, that want to come straight out of work and have some refreshments, or can't make it during the week, we also have it Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Get it out of the way for your Saturday and enjoy the rest of your weekend. But it's very, very informative. We usually do it about 45 minutes, but people always stick around for more questions, right? So that's out of our control, which is great because they want to be informed. They want to know how their money is working because They may say, oh, I left this money behind. Can you help me find this money? So we do all of that.
Solid. I like that, though, man, because, again, it's information at the same time, and it's exciting information. You know, I definitely enjoy those meetings, and because it's very exciting, you know, when I can make them, because sometimes my schedule does not permit all the time, but I really enjoy those meetings, and I'll tell you, the passion you guys really have for sharing that information. You can tell that you guys are genuine about it, and so that's really important, and that resonates with me as far as my personal testimony to what you guys bring to the table. I like that genuineness of it all. Now, without further ado, we're talking about 401k and all that good stuff. So let the people know about 401k, how to move it, just all the ins and outs of the 401k, and what does WFG do to help the people out to get more information when it comes to educating themselves, I guess, on the 401k plans.
Absolutely, Shelton. And especially right now, and many of you have it fresh in your mind, how the Dow Jones went down about Friday, I believe, Friday of last week, and was negative 900 points. And that is definitely affecting everybody's 401k. So if you left your employer, you quit, they laid you off, they fired you, whatever it is, that you're not at that past employer and you were contributing to a 401k, right? So it's getting that paperwork, because we get the paperwork in the mail, and that paperwork we're able to help accessorize it, see where it's at, find it, see how much is left of it, and what we call is roll it over. It's not cashing it out. It's rolling it over to another financial institution where it guarantees your principal. So, for example, if John Doe has $50,000 in a 401k and we roll it over to a financial institution, they guarantee that he's not going to have less than $50,000, which is really, really good, right? They also have income for life, which is an additional plus that they add to it, kind of a bells and whistles that we're able to add. So income for life, right? It also there's a rate of return. It has rate of return of an average of 6 to 10%. So imagine every year having a 6 to 10% rate of return on your money. Another pro of it, big benefit, is that it's not going to be invested in the stock market anymore. So if you have it in your previous employer and you just left it there because that's what they're just telling you to do, it's right there is invested in the stock market. So the stock market goes up, your money does so the same. But if the stock market goes down, you are affected by those downturns, which are really, really hard to recuperate from. So rolling it over into another financial institution that we're able to help you with, you're not invested in the stock market anymore. You're mirroring the stock market, and the strategy is called index strategy, right? It's more of a step-up approach, and it's guaranteeing the principle that you won't take the downfalls, which in some cases, majority of the people, if not everybody, agree to this strategy because they're like, well, this is the only money that I have. I don't want to gamble it, right?
Right.
So imagine, Shelton, having $50,000 that you saved up the past years, and you go, you know what, I'm going to go to Vegas and gamble it all. Would you do that?
No.
Unless
there's a guaranteed bet. I mean, unless I'm like, I just got some inside information that I'm going to win. Yeah. That's the only way I take that $50,000 and gamble it.
You and I know there's no such thing.
Exactly, right?
So that's definitely the example of how the 401k is gambling and not knowing what to expect out of it. So if that's all the money. And again, I do want to say, guys, I'm not against the 401k. I'm not rebellious about it. You know, I know the information, and the way that I look at it is, and I tell the clients is, if this is all your lifetime savings, do you want to gamble it? Because that's how it's doing right now in the 401k.
Yeah.
So, but going back really quick is, how is it that the 401k works? And that's primarily, you know, the segment for today is. So if you are the age if you're younger than the age of 59 and a half, the age of 59 and a half, you're younger than that age, and you want to take out money, right? Other than, doing for a home loan or whatever, there are penalties and taxes on there that need to be paid. So if you take out $10,000 from your 401k, you're in reality going to get about $6,000 to $5,000 because the rest is going to go to taxes and penalties.
Tax man.
Exactly, because all the money that you're putting in is, all the money that's being saved into a 401k is before tax money. So before tax money is Uncle Sam just keeping a tab of all the money that you owe them. So whenever you're ready to take it out before the age of 59 and a half, there's penalties and taxes on there up to a 38.5%. So you're looking at close to 40% if you want to take out $10,000. You're pretty much walking home with $6,000 or so. So depending on how much you have in there also. Another one is after the age of 59 and a half, you're like, okay, I'm already past this age. Do I still pay penalties and taxes? Yes and no. You don't pay penalties anymore because that's just the rule. The age of 59 and a half, there's no more penalties. But guess what, guys? There are still taxes to be paid because remember, all that money you were contributing to is before tax. So you haven't paid taxes, and in this country, and as far as I know, I don't know how the United Kingdom works, right? But as far as that,
why not, man? States. I thought you knew everything, Crystal. I thought you knew everything. You don't know how the United Kingdom works? What's going on? You slipping, man. I thought you knew it all. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how the United Kingdom's government works, but in the United States, we have to pay taxes. So in the 401k, that's something that hasn't been paid unless you physically wrote in the paperwork after tax money, which is a rare occasion that I get that kind of client, right? If I do, it's just one that's very curious and very, analytical. But majority, all 401ks is, you haven't paid taxes before it. And all this about the match, and my employer matches me and they do this. Guess what, guys? You're paying taxes on their money too. So there's a match, and at the beginning it may seem like your money is growing faster. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay taxes on that money, right? So it's knowing not to get distracted by the shiny, by the shiny gold at the beginning, because at the end it's probably fake gold, right? So
it is gold.
Yeah, it's a full gold. So in the long run, there's still taxes to be paid. But another important rule and I'm just giving you guys three basic ones. The number one was before the age of 59 and a half to pay penalties and taxes up to a 38.5, right? That's rule number one. These are the basic ones I'm giving you. Rule number three is after the age of 59 and a half, there are no more penalties to be paid, but there's still taxes that you have to pay. So depending now that it's at a 10%, right, or later when, you become older or we get to that age, depending on what the tax bracket is at that point, then we pay those taxes. And as far as we know, taxes may continue increasing, right?
Yes.
So
they want their money.
Yes, they want their money. That's rule number two, after the age of 59 and a half. Last rule I'll share with you guys today, not to give you too much. Over this segment, we can always sit down and go over it more in detail, is after the age of 70 and a half. Why they create all these half ages, Shelton? I have no idea. Why they create? I have no idea why they created this 59 and a half, 70 and a half, like, why can't they just make it whole numbers? But anyways, but you know what it is? They just want to confuse the community. They want to confuse them. I say, oh, okay, I still got 6 months. Guess what, sweetie? 6 months go really, really fast.
Yes.
Right? So by the time you know it, it's like, oh, you already passed the rule of 70 and a half, right? So it's there to confuse you and distract you also. But third rule that I